Hey guys, this is your help video for the multiplying and dividing integers quiz. So this first question says, what is the value of 14 minus a squared given a equals -4? So this is really important here. It tells us everywhere we see an a, we need to plug in a -4. So if I look over here, wherever I see this a, I'm going to plug in a -4. And whenever you do this, you always want to use parentheses. So I'm going to bring the 14 straight down. I'm going to bring the minus sign straight down. And I'm going to bring the squared straight down. But instead of writing a, I'm going to substitute in -4. And those parentheses are very important. Now we can solve this using the order of operations or our calculator. I will show you both. Starting off with the order of operations, we have to take care of our exponents first. -4 squared. Remember, squared tells you how many times you're going to multiply it. So we're really doing -4 times -4. We're doing it 2 times. Oops, I left off my negative sign. And -4 times -4 is a positive 16. So for -4 squared, I got positive 16. I'm just going to bring this minus sign straight down, and I'm going to bring this 14 straight down. And then here we're subtracting, and our rules is if you have different signs, you have a positive and a negative, then you subtract and you take the sign of the bigger number. So since 16 is bigger and it's negative, my answer would be a negative. 16 minus 14 is 2. Take the sign of the bigger number. Now that's just using the order of operations and your rules and your brain. I really want you to be comfortable using a calculator as well. You can take this whole piece right here and plug it into the calculator exactly how it looks. So let me show you that. I have opened Desmos, and I'm going to do 14 minus, and then use my parentheses, -4, close parentheses, and square it. And it tells you it's -2. So make sure you can use your technology, all right? So for the next question, it says, which equation represents 15 more than r is 62? So let's go ahead and write down what we know. We know 15, so I'm going to put that as a number, more than r. So we're going to take our letter r, and we want 15 more than that. That means we have to be adding to r. So 15 more than r. The word is in mathematics means equals, and then 62. So 15 more than r equals 62. I don't know exactly how it's going to be written. It could also, you could switch the order here. You could get r plus 15 equals 62. I'm not really sure what order they're going to write it in. When you add, you can add in any order. It doesn't matter if you do 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2. It's going to equal the same thing either way. So let's look at the next one. What is the value of all of this? Now I am going to show you the order of operations, but remember, if you can type it in Desmos exactly how it looks, you should get the same answer. So let's do our order of operations. In our order of operations, we have PEMDAS. The first thing we always take care of is our parentheses. So we do have a parentheses in this problem. So we need to take care of the inside of the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, I have 3 times 5 plus 1. Well, we do want to multiply before we add. So we're going to do 3 times 5 first. 3 times 5 is 15. And then I'm just going to bring down that plus 1, and now I'm going to add those together. 15 plus 1 is 16. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop down the rest of this. Now notice my parentheses aren't completely gone yet because I have this -3 next to it, and that means that I have to multiply. So I have to do -3 times 16. I like to leave my parentheses there because I don't want to confuse myself and think that it means -316. This number is 16, this number is -3, and I do need to multiply those. I'm going to go ahead and follow my order of operations. I did parentheses. Next, I'm going to do exponents. So 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is 16. And then I'm going to multiply. -3 times 16, I don't even know that. 3 times 16 is a -48. There is no division, there is no addition, so I'm going to subtract. 16 minus 48, is -32. But I want to show you that in Desmos as well. So let's see if this works. If we type it in exactly how it looks, 4 squared minus 3, parentheses, 3 times 5 plus 1, close our parentheses, and it does equal negative 32, which is exactly what we got when we did the order of operations. So please use your calculator as often as you can. It says, what symbol is needed to go between negative 2 and negative 4? Okay, so we got to figure out which number is bigger, and then we need our inequality symbol, which I usually refer to as the alligator mouth, to eat the bigger number. So if we look at a number line here, we have a negative 2 and we have a negative 4. Whichever number is further to the right is the bigger number. So in this case, negative 2 is bigger and negative 4 is smaller. So we want our alligator mouth to eat the bigger number, and since negative 2 is bigger, it should be that symbol. For this one, what is the value of all of this? So I'm going to show you the order of operations, but then I will also show you the calculator. Order of operations say take care of parentheses first. And inside the parentheses, we have an exponent. So we're going to do that very, very first. 2 to the third power means you're multiplying it 3 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So far, all I've done is this. So I'm going to write down everything else. This is going to be an 8. And then I'm going to write down the 7, the 10, the minus sign, the 8, and then divided by 4. Okay, I'm still dealing with the parentheses, so 10 minus 8 is 2. And then I'm going to just write down everything else, the 7, the 8, and the 4. And then to get rid of that parentheses, we have 7 times 4. We're multiplying. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. 7 times 4 is 14. And then I'm just writing down everything else. Now this is where you got to be really careful. We have got to follow the order of operations, and division comes before addition. So you can't do 14 plus 8 and get a number and then divide it by 4. You have to use your division first. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And I'm just bringing down everything else. And now I can finish it. 14 plus 2 is 16. So that's with the order of operations. But I really, really, really want you guys to use a calculator and be confident with a calculator. So let's go and look at that. So I'm going to type this in just exactly how it looks. You can't miss anything. You can't miss the parentheses or anything. You have to type it in exactly how it looks. And if you want to get the third power, you have to use this A raised to the B button to get a 3 up there. And then I'm going to get out of that and close the parentheses. And then plus 8 divided by 4. Oops. Hang on. I don't know what I just did there. I meant to hit. Oh yeah, that did work. Just kidding. Plus 8. And then this makes it a fraction when you're dividing by 4, which is kind of cool because fractions are division. That's another way to write division. But either way, when we type it in exactly how it looked on the paper, we got the answer is 16. And that's what we got when we did order of operations too. So if you're feeling confused or overwhelmed by the order of operations, please, please, please use the technology available to you and type it in the calculator on Desmos. For this one, we want to write our integers in order from least to greatest. So the smallest to the biggest. I don't know why I put, there we go, smallest to biggest. Remember, absolute value means distance from 0. So if you have the absolute value of negative 11, that's 11 spaces from 0. So that becomes a positive 11. So negative 11 can be, absolute value of negative 11 becomes positive 11. And then the rest of these we don't have to change. So let's just look at a number line. Let's put everything on a number line. We have a positive 11. We have a negative 3. We have a positive 3, and we have a positive 7. And remember, the numbers that are on the left are the smallest, and the ones on the right are the biggest. So negative 3 is our smallest, then 3, oops, I didn't write that number there, then 7, then absolute value of 11. What is the additive inverse of negative 39? Additive inverse is just fancy math language for the opposite. So the opposite of negative 39 is a positive 39. So we just want the opposite. What is the solution to 102 minus negative 25? Now, if you remember your properties, then you will remember that two negatives next to each other make a positive. So you can just add 102 plus 25 and get 127. If you don't remember your properties, that's fine. Don't freak out. Go to your calculator and type it in. So we have 102, and we want to type it in exactly how it looks. So minus, then open a parentheses, then do minus again, and put a 25, and close your parentheses. And you will see that it gives you the same answer that we got. It is 127. Okay, for this one it says using a complete sentence, give a mathematical definition of 0. 0 means that there isn't a number. There is nothing there. It is 0. None. Nothing. So you can write your sentence however you want. You just need to make sure that it has something about it being nothing. 0 represents no number. It represents nothing. This is moving on to part 2 of the quiz. So it says Joaquin or Joaquin, I'm not sure, buys 24 light bulbs. After changing the light bulbs in his house, he has 10 light bulbs left. How many light bulbs did he use? Well, the first thing we need to know is how many are in a dozen. There are 12 in a dozen. So if we buy 2 of those, we can either say 12 plus 12 to get our answer, or we can do 2 times 12. Either way, if we buy 24 light bulbs, we are buying 24 light bulbs. And after he changes the light bulbs in his house, he has 10 left. How many light bulbs did he use? So if he ends up with 10, that's going to be what it equals. That's what he ends with. And we just want to know how many light bulbs he used. So he started with 24. He took some of them away and put them in his house. We don't know how many, but he took some away and put them up. And then he's left with 10. So we would start off by writing that equation, and then we would need to solve it for x. And anytime you don't see a number, there's really a 1 there. So I'm going to get rid of 24 first. I'm going to subtract 24 from each side. Negative 1x equals negative 14. And then I'm going to divide each side by negative 1. So x equals 14. So he used 14 light bulbs, which some of you could probably figure that out without writing the equation, but it does say to show all the steps that you use to solve this problem. So that kind of gives you an idea, and now you can just show your steps and type your words into your answer. For this last one, it says the Empire State Building in New York City is 1,250 feet tall. It has 120 floors. It doesn't really, obviously I changed that number. It says rounded to the nearest whole number, what is the height of each floor? Okay, so if there's this many feet and that's divided evenly between 120 floors, we could figure out the height of each floor by dividing. So we could take the total number of feet, divide it by how much is in each floor, and then see what that gives us. So if we do that in our calculator, 1250 divided by 120. My calculator tells me, and this is not a pretty number yet, 10.4166667. Okay, that's what my calculator tells me. But in this case, it says that we want to round to the nearest whole number. So if I want to round to the whole number, I need to look at the place right behind it. If this was a 5 or higher, this number would go up. If it's less than 5, this number stays the same. Since this number is a 4, 10 is going to stay the same. So the height of each floor is approximately 10 feet. That is just an estimate. And then you would just want to show all your work and use your words as needed. I hope this helps. Good luck on your quiz part 1 and 2.